Are you considering retirement in Portugal, but feeling alarmed by that one headline number, 23% VAT? Let's put that into perspective. We're going to walk you through exactly what that number means, where it actually applies, and why most retirees from the US and UK say it's really not a problem. In fact, they say it hardly affects their budget. Here's why. First, what exactly is VAT in Portugal? VAT stands for Value Added Tax, and in Portugal, it's already included in the price you see. There are 3 VAT tiers. The standard rate, 23%, that's what you see in the headlines. But there's also a reduced rate of 13% used for dining and tourism. And a super reduced rate of 6%, which applies to essentials like groceries, electricity, and transit. So that big 23% number, it's real, but it doesn't apply to most daily purchases. How does this affect US and UK retirees? For Americans, it's an adjustment. You're used to seeing sales tax added at checkout, but here's the difference. VAT is baked into the price, and services like healthcare are far cheaper. For Brits, VAT isn't new, but there are some differences. In the UK, food often has 0 VAT. In Portugal, it's 6%. Still, food here is often cheaper overall, even with VAT included. Let's talk about the essentials. Groceries, taxed at just 6%. And in 2023, the government even dropped VAT on many basics altogether. Healthcare is VAT exempt. And private insurance, often just a fraction of US prices. Public transport, also just 6%. These are the categories that matter most to retirees, and they're barely touched by VAT. Now, how about enjoying life? Dining out? You'll typically pay the 13% rate, but a full meal often costs under €15, including wine. Culture, hotels, and events, taxed at reduced rates too, not the full 23%. So you're not just saving, you're living better more often. But let's be real, where does VAT hit harder? Electronics, imported goods, vehicles? That's where the 23% shows up. But many retirees adapt quickly. They buy local, they research big purchases, and they bring things over with them when they relocate. And here's something else that matters. VAT in Portugal isn't static. In recent years, the government has suspended VAT on food during inflation, cut energy VAT, and hasn't raised the standard VAT rate since 2011. This is a system that responds to economic reality, not one that punishes retirees. And here's what real retirees are saying. Retiree 1. I worried about VAT at first, but my rent and healthcare savings more than make up for it. Retiree 2. We eat out more often here than we ever did in Florida. Once you understand how VAT works, you realize it's just not that big of a deal. So what's the verdict? Portugal's VAT headline might sound scary, but the essentials are either lightly taxed or totally exempt. Your total cost of living? Usually 30 to 40% lower than back home. So don't be scared off by a number. Look at the full picture and you'll see why Portugal remains one of the most affordable places to retire in Europe.